Now I will be explaining this entire process of job analysis using a very small example. If you understand that particular example, you can easily understand this process without even any effort of remembering. Now let's look at, first of all, let's look at what are the different steps involved in job analysis. Now see, this is the process of job analysis. I told you right in the starting, we talked telling that job analysis is a systematic process. There I told you right, this particular job analysis involves a series of steps, right? Now see, process of job analysis. The first step in the process, just keep this steps in your mind. We will be talking about an example where you can actually relate. The first step is defining the objectives. Second thing is preparing the job analysis. Third thing is performing the actual job analysis, that means going out and collecting the information. Fourth thing is designing the job description and job specification, controlling the job description and job specification. Now, just keep these steps in your mind. Now let's start with the example. Now, let us assume that you and I, we are partners and we own a very big organization in India. Let's just consider this as an example where we both are partners and we own a very big organization in India. And our head office, our organization, our company's head office is located in Delhi. And let's assume that we have branches of our office in each and every state in the country. So this is basically the example that you have to remember. Let us assume that we both are partners and we both have an organization, very famous company in the entire India. So we had our head office of our company in Delhi, and we also have our branches of our company in each and every state in India. Okay, keep this in mind. Now let us assume that something bad happened, or we are not able to compete in the market. So what we did, we closed down each and every branch in the country, in each and every state except for one state. Okay, so initially we had our head office in Delhi and we had our branches, our office branches in each and every state in India, right? Now let us assume that something bad happened, like our product failed, or we were financially very bad. Something happened and we cannot run the entire branches anymore. So what we decided, we closed down each and every branch in every state in the country except one. That means in Delhi, our home branch is there, and in any random state one branch is there. That's it. Each and every other branch in each and every other state in India, we just shut down. Now, this is generally practically not it doesn't happen like this, but just for understanding, just for the example, keep this example in mind. Now you understood what is the example, right? We both partners, very big company throughout India. In each state we have our branches. Our home branch is in Delhi. Something bad happened, we shut down each and every branch in each and every state except for one random state. It may be any state, one state. So basically our head office is still running in Delhi and one branch is still operating in one random state throughout India. This is the example that you have to keep in mind. Okay, now see, now initially what we thought, initially our company is very huge. We had branches in each and every state in India. So we will automatically be having large number of workforce, right? So in order to deal with all the workforce, what we did is, we both discussed, we both had a meeting, and we both are heads of the company, right? We both decided that, see, there is so much workforce throughout the country that is at present working for us. Initially, before the bad thing happened, there's so much workforce working for us. So we need so many different people in order to manage them. So we had this discussion and finally we came to the conclusion telling that, okay, to manage the recruitment throughout the country, we will be having one head of the department for recruitment department. That means one recruitment head for managing the recruitment throughout the country, and we will take him and we will put him in the Delhi head office. Similarly, we will be appointing one a legal compliance head, and we placed him in the Delhi. And we also appointed one training and development head, and we placed him in Delhi. Now in this way we have so many different heads. What we did is, we are the owners, right? We have discussed and we had basically recruited one head for each and every function of the human resource management. For recruitment we had one head, for training and development we appointed one head, for legal compliance we appointed one head. Similarly, for performance management throughout the country, one person as a head of performance management functions throughout the country in all our branches. We appointed one person. Similarly, for for what are the different other functions, like for performance management, for legal compliance, for compensation. Okay, for in this way, for each and every function of human resource, since our workforce is too much and it will be very difficult for very few people to manage workforce throughout the country, what we did is we both mutually discussed and we appointed different heads for different different functions in human resource. So we took them, we placed them in Delhi, our head office. Now this was initially we had too much workforce. Now we don't have any workforce. There is only one branch operating. So again, we both conducted a meeting and we both sat together and we decided that, see, initially we had like lakhs and lakhs of employees workforce. So because we need so many people to deal with them, we appointed one head for each and every function and we placed them in Delhi. Now only one branch is running throughout the country. Do we actually require different heads for different HR functions? We started this conversation and we came to the conclusion that, okay, instead of putting one head of the department for each and every function of human resource, we will remove some people. Okay, we will remove some people. For some people, for example, for training and development head, we will keep him that only. That means we will not change his job, or we will not any change his job description, nothing. He used to be the head of training, training and development department. Let him be. But when it comes to the recruitment, when it comes to compensation, legal compliance, performance management, what we'll do is we will reduce some of the jobs, or we will remove some of the people, and we will tell that, okay, you take care of these two areas, you take care of these two areas, you remain in the same position, or take care of the same roles and responsibilities that you used to do before this bad thing happened. In this way, what we discussed in a meeting, telling that we discussed that we are going to change this, all the heads of the all the heads of the organization, since we don't have so much workforce, and we why do we need those many different heads for very less workforce? So we thought that let us reduce the number of heads of the head of the department for each and every function. This is what we concluded in our meeting. See, and this entire thing is an example just to explain the process. You will not forget the process if you understand this example. So this is the example. You have understood the example, right? Now see, now starts our original process of job analysis. What did I tell you? What do we mean by job analysis? Collecting information regarding a job, right? Now, let's start job analysis process here. What is the first step that we have discussed in job analysis? Setting the objectives, right? Now, before doing job analysis, or before starting to collect job information, entire information relating to a particular job, you need to have an objective. You always need to have a need or objective or a goal, because see, doing job analysis involves a lot of time, right? And in organizations, time means money. So you are putting time in risk, you're putting money at risk. And also, when you want to do job analysis, when you want to collect information regarding a particular job, you also have to consult those people, right? You have to collect information from people who are actually doing it. So here you are putting their time also at risk, right? So basically, job analysis requires so many different things that you have to put it as a investment, as a cost. So basically, job analysis, you have to do job analysis only when you have an objective, or when you have a need, or when you have a goal of doing that particular thing. So basically, first and foremost thing is objectives, right? In this particular example that we have discussed in our organization throughout India, in this example, we thought of changing the job descriptions, or we thought of changing the job hierarchy in the organization by removing some of the heads, right? Now, in order to do that, we need to collect information, right? That means we told, right, we will ask some of the heads of the department to take care of more than one area of human resource management. For example, we will approach the recruitment head of the department throughout the country. We'll ask him that, see, since there is no workforce, you take care of recruitment as well as performance management. Okay, in this way, we are basically changing their job descriptions, right, which were initially assigned to them. We are changing them. Now, that is our basic objective. Our basic objective in this example is changing the organization's hierarchy due to some loss or whatever it is. This is our basic objective. Okay, now the second step, what we did, collect the information about the different jobs. That is basically the second step. Okay, in second, next what we do is, see, I told you in the example, right, certain head of the departments we will not change, or we will not bring any change in their roles and responsibilities. For example, I told you, right, see, we'll go to the, we'll go to one of the head of the department, and we'll tell that, okay, you don't, you don't need to change anything, you do your own, roles and responsibilities that were assigned to you initially. All the remaining members, we are changing your roles and responsibilities. That means we are removing some people and we are just consolidating all their roles and responsibilities. That means we are sharing all the roles and responsibilities of the people that, are leaving our organization. Their roles and responsibilities I'm sharing with you, with some of you. And you in particular, you do not have any change in your job description. That means you do not have any change in your roles and responsibilities. You keep on continue, you keep on working on your own thing. The rest of the people, we are changing job. In this way, we are actually selecting the jobs which we are wanting to change, right? In this way, this next step, in the first step of the process of job analysis, you keep your objectives. That means you establish your objectives. In the second step, you choose all the jobs for which you will do job analysis. In the third step, once you have your objectives, once you have all the jobs in your mind that you actually want to do job analysis for, the next thing is you actually go out and collect the information. That means you go out and you collect the information for each and every job that you want to change. In our example, we have chosen only some of the jobs. We thought that since there is no workforce, there is no point of having different individual or different heads for each and every small function in human resource management. So we are planning to consolidate some of the jobs of some of the heads. So in this way, we have set our objectives. That is the first step in the process of job analysis. Next, we have chosen the jobs which we want to do job analysis for. Here we have choose some of the jobs. The third step, we do job analysis. That means we'll directly go to the jobs whichever we want to bring a change in. We will actually go to them. We will start collecting information. Now while collecting the information, we can use so many different methods, which is our next topic. That means we can directly go to those heads and ask them, please give us information about your roles and responsibilities, your duties, your qualifications. What are the different things that are required that you think have to be there in a person who is willing to do your job? In this way, you are collecting so many different things in this situation by directly asking them, or you can directly provide them with a questionnaire, or you can give them a checklist, or you can ask them their diary, their personal work diary, in order to study that and understand what are the different roles, responsibilities, tasks performed by these people. In this way, there are so many different methods in which you go out and collect information, but basically in this step of the process, you collect the information. Okay, next thing is, now you went out, you collected so much information regarding a particular job that you wanted to change. Now you will be left with a bunch of information in your hand, right? Now what you have to do is, out of all the bunch of information in your hand and based on your objectives, you have to create, or you have to establish, or you have to write the job description and job specification. Based on all the information that you have collected and based on your objectives and each and everything, you have to prepare the job description and job specification. Now basically what happens in reality in organizations is, they will usually prepare a draft job specification and a draft job a description, and they will communicate it to the managers or to the top management, and they'll get their approval and all these things, right? That is the last but one step in the process of job analysis. What is the last process? Continuously reviewing this particular job analysis and job description, if any changes can be made, or if any changes have to be made, or if there is a scope of any change. Okay, so this is basically the process of job analysis. You understood, right? Now let's look at the theory part.